Hey, Russell Hotels going live just for a couple minutes. You guys know how I do it. I do these daily check-ins daily. I know I'm a little late. It's about 1:30, but you know what? Better late than never. Okay. Let me just make sure that I am live on. I see I'm live on YouTube. Want to make sure I'm there on LinkedIn as well. And I know Facebook. I'm always on Facebook, right? So this year I'm doing something a little different. Well, not a little different. I guess I've been doing it. I did it the last couple, probably the last week of 2023, where I'm live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and I was live on IG, but I just got a notification from IG today said that something was wrong, so I'm not live on IG today, but that's okay. We'll fix that in the future. There we go. So just want to make sure I am live on LinkedIn because that's where I get most of my people from, right? That's where my peeps are. So anyway, hope you guys are well. I'm Russell of Hotels. I do these live. This is a daily check-in, right? So I do a daily check-in daily, Monday through, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay. On Tuesday, I do On Air with Russell of Hotels, which is that live hospitality talk show. Everybody's talking about it, right? So hope you guys are doing well. But I bring the hospitality, stuff to flourishing, meaning, so you can make sense of some of the things that we deal with, in the world of hospitality. Okay, let me just make sure my chat is on. You guys can feel free to make your comments, say, hey, what's going on? I appreciate it. Was it yesterday or a couple of days ago? I think it was Tuesday. We had some great engagement, a lot of people making comments and all that stuff, and that's what it's all about. So feel free to chime in at your leisure, your leisure. I'm just, whatever. But yeah, feel free to comment at your leisure. I'll make sure I put the comments on the screen so everybody can see them, see what's going on, see what people are doing. But Happy New Year again. 2024 is going to be a phenomenal year. Okay, can I say that? Yeah, I think so. So but I come on here and I always have a topic that I want to talk about, and and some of these topics are based on conversations that I've had with people, and today is no exception. In fact, I was kind of ticked off about this conversation. Well, I'm not ticked off at the person that I had a conversation with, but I was ticked off about the information she was giving me about um, a CVB, right? And not that I don't mention CVBs because that's not I don't mention CVB and I'm not mentioning the person, but I'm mentioning the situation and and basically what CVBs need to do with certain things or with information that they get or whatever. But anyway, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about when I get to it. So let me just what these things don't have to be that long. So let me get into it right now, right? Okay, so just be patient with me. So okay, so boom, okay. So and you can see the scenes have changed. So this is the westward look, Tucson, Arizona. This is what it looks like from their property. That desert scene. You see the mountains. I can't think of the name of those mountains in Tucson, but it's just a gorgeous, picturesque desert scene. Okay, and the one before that, let me just back up. The one before that was this is the view from the UCLA Lake Arrowhead Lodge. Okay, so this is what you see when you're like on the grassy knoll, so to speak, and you're facing the water. This is exactly what you see. So it's really picturesque as well. So you got different terrains, right? You got the lake and a mountain. You got desert, in Tucson. Okay, so there you go. So anyway, CVBs, are you vetting your fam trip attendees? Okay, so I had a conversation yesterday with a young lady that I'm friends with, and we were talking about a situation that arose when she was doing a fam trip. Okay, so but this fam trip came after a like a conference. Okay, I'll just say that, like a conference, right? And the CVB person that was, I guess, in charge of it was asking this person questions that they should already have known, like who do you represent, or how much business do you have, potential business, or do you have any potential business for our destination? These are things that should have been vetted long before. So one thing that I, is a takeaway for me when she mentioned this is like, did she do her homework? Are they doing their homework? So, CVBs, DMOs, do your homework on your clients, right? Know exactly who is doing the pre-fam or the post-fam. after the conference, right? You should know those things. You should know what they represent because, during the fam is not the time to be vetting a planner. Okay, let me just throw that out there. During a fam trip, that's not the time to be vetting to vet a planner. Okay, they should already be vetted. Okay, because why are you inviting them to this pre or post fam if you haven't vetted them? You should know exactly who they are, what they represent, what potential business they have, what are they there looking for now, what properties are they interested in, why are they interested in those properties, high end, low end, whatever, golf resorts, whatever. I'm just using those as examples, right? But we need to know that before they go on a trip, right? I mean, when I go to these conferences, they ask 101 questions, right? Before you go on, and that's great. So qualify and make sure they're the right people that should be going on these fam trips. But like I said, if I'm at a fam trip, the last thing I want to be asked is, what kind of business you have again? I would rather hear like, hey, I understand you represent, company A, company B, company C. Okay, what do they look for? That's what I'm looking for, right? That's what the conversations I would think I would be having with my my CVB representative or my DMO rep or whatever, right? So these fam trips are made to, and this is me saying this, to build relationships, right? So I'm going through my list. I say, do your homework. During the fam trip is not the time to vet a planner, okay? And then the next one says build relationships, okay? So you would think that during these fam trips, you're trying to build relationships. You're trying to get actually what's going to set my, destination, what's going to give me the upper hand, what's going to set me aside from my competition, right? So, but this young lady I was speaking with yesterday, and and it's funny how conversations go, right? So I call people just to, keep up on what's going on, how you doing, Happy New Year, that kind of thing. And it went into another conversation, right? I was like, she was mentioning, because I asked about the client, because I knew about this particular group that she had. And I knew that she was looking for, a resort type hotel for her client, right? And she's playing this thing like the last 3 or 4 years, right? But it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So if I know what she represents, why doesn't the CVB know what they represent? I mean, like I said, that's their job to know that, right? So she's telling me how she didn't get a real warm and fuzzy feeling from the CVB representative at this destination. And she was the only one. Okay, now there was a couple other people involved with it, but she was dealing with this one particular person and really didn't get a warm and fuzzy feeling from it because she was basically vetting her, when she should have been trying to build a relationship and say, hey, maybe we need to look at this property, or your budget is this. Okay, I understand your budget is going up. Okay, maybe we need to look at this, things like that, or build relationships, whatever you need to do, but not vetting a planner during a fam trip. That is not good. Okay. So, and then the last thing I want to say on this is planners talk to other planners. Just like I just had this conversation with her yesterday. She's telling me all those things about now granted, everybody's experience is different. Okay. And I understand that. But if a planner is telling me that she had a negative experience with this particular salesperson with this particular CVB, well, basically that gives a bad mark to the destination as well as the person that's representing it. Because she ended up going to another, and this is per the client, right? There was another destination that they looked at pre-conference, right? So she did a pre-conference fam and a post-conference fam. Okay, the client ended up selecting the pre-conference fam, not the last fam that they did, and it was based on the warm and fuzzy feeling that they did not get. Okay, so it was being grilled because the client was there with the planner, so he's overseeing these things. He's actually observing what's going on, right, and hearing the conversations and seeing that this person doesn't have their group in their best interest, right? And is acting like they don't really want it because they're asking questions that they should already know the answers to. So they ended up choosing another destination, which was their main competitor. And then the CVB person gets upset. Well, you're not gonna get 100% of the business. Let me just throw that out there. No one's gonna get 100% of the business. You're definitely not gonna get the business if you're trying to vet a planner during a fam trip. Okay, so let's check ourselves. Let's know exactly what's going on. Treat everybody the way they're supposed to be treated. Treat them like everybody has $1 million piece of business. Okay, that's how I would want to be treated. Because if I've been vetted already, hopefully I've been vetted, you know that I have some worth, right? You know that I represent something. Now, if it doesn't come to your destination, well, the client, can make up their own mind, right? My job is to make sure that the client sees, all the properties, goes on some of these fam trips as well as me because they're serious about booking something, right? But if they choose another destination based on how they were treated, well, then whose fault is that? You know what I mean? So there you go. So just make sure, one, before you invite anyone on a fam trip, do your homework. Number two, during the fam is not the time to vet a planner. They should be vetted already. You should have all the information there in front of you about this person. Russell Hotels, what does he represent? What has he booked in the past? What destinations has he booked in the past? And the third one is build a relationship. That's what the fam trip is for. To show me all these different things. What can these destinations do, or this destination, these hotels, these resorts, what can they do for my client? Okay, and build relationships. And then remember, planners talk to other planners. So if one planner had a bad experience, believe me, they're going to tell probably 10, 20 other planners that they had a bad experience. And this is what's going on. And this is A, B, C, and D. A list of things. I got a whole laundry list of things that I did not expect. I was just calling to say, hey, and Happy New Year, right? But that's and I'm glad that she shared this information with me. I would never, like I said, I never would divulge who the planner, who this particular person was with this DMO or CVB, or the actual CVB or DMO, because I don't think that's important. What's important is we, as people within our community, our meeting planning community, which involves our hotel partners as well as our CVB partners, we need to be aware that planners do talk to each other, and you need to be on you need to put your best foot forward when it comes to having these pre and post fam tours. Okay, so that's all I want to say about that. But it was one of those things that made me just go because I'm familiar with the person, I'm familiar with the CVB, right? And I'm not that I've done a fam there before, but I've had clients that are interested in that particular destination. And not saying that, well, I'm not gonna, show them that destination or mention it to my client, because at the end of the day, it comes down to the client and what they want and what they need, right? But, of course, if you walk away feeling some kind of way, you're not gonna be, their best advocate either. You know what I mean? So just remember those things, because we do talk, good, bad, or indifferent. We talk, we share information. I've done some meetings sight unseen in other countries, and I will call, my colleagues that I know have booked in certain destinations or whatever, and say, hey, I can't go to this property. You've been there before. Can you give me information about the property? What does it look like? How did your clients enjoy it? Who did you work with? Were they easy to work with? Contracts, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of times they're forthcoming with information, right? So we depend on each other to get information, right? Or to vet them as well, right? We're vetting you just as much as you're vetting us. Okay, so just remember that. And we want to be treated with respect, right? We don't want to be treated like the stepchild, asking these questions you're not asking everyone else. You know what I mean? So like I said, if you have issues, you should have known that before you invited me or whoever else to come to your destination for a fam trip. And a fam trip is to familiarize yourself with a destination, because I know somebody wants to know what that is. So just in case, you didn't know what a fam trip was, I do several fam trips a year. And yeah, you get familiar with those destinations, right? And the people that are selling that destination. So if the people that are selling a destination are sliding you or grilling you on questions that they should not have, that they should know the answers to already, that's not a good look. Okay, so I know I'm beating this one to death, but it needs to be said, right? So there you go. So that's what I do. I share information with people. It's not always good. It's not always pleasant, but it's something that needs to be said, right? And people need to understand that, hey, you know what? That's right. And let me make sure we are vetting, them prior and not during. And not everyone does this. This is the first time I've ever heard of this, but it's worth noting and it's worth the conversation. So, boom, there you go. I'm done with that. So, this is the Hyatt Regency Long Beach in the LBC. So everything that I go through, I change different hotels, right? So just imagine your hotel is there for the last 15 or 20 minutes, right? So every slide or everything that I go to, it changes the hotel or it changes the destination. And then the last one here is actually Ferris wheel, and this is in Long Beach as well, right? This is in the LBC. This is actually right across the street from the Hyatt Regency. So you can see in the background there's an actual roller coaster there too. So this is the Pike area. I want to say it's called the Pike. At least back in the day it used to be called the Pike. So I think that's what it's called. It's attached to like a little shopping center, mall. They have a lot of little gaming places, restaurants, things like that. A lot of things to do right there in the LBC. Tons of restaurants within walking distance of where the Hyatt Regency is. So the Hyatt Regency would be on the east of here. So it's right across the street. So kind of in back of where I'm sitting, so to speak. So, but real quick, I wanted to thank Mr. Craig Sullivan. He is the founder and CEO of California Lodging Investment Conference. They call it CLIC. Okay, the conference this year is March 6th and 7th. And it's at the West and South Coast Plaza. Now, I went last year, right? So I get invited again, right? So I'm going to the one this year as well. So I just want to thank Craig for the invitation. Appreciate you thinking about me. Definitely will be in attendance March 6th and 7th at West and South Coast Plaza. So just want to thank him for that because I do appreciate that. When people do things for you, that are not expected, you got to thank people and appreciate them because he didn't have to invite me, right? But he did. He invited me last year. Had a great time. That was my first experience. Didn't know what to expect. It exceeded any expectations I had. So I'm expecting, this year to exceed the expectations from last year, right? So there you go. But no, thank you so much, Craig. I appreciate you. And make sure you guys follow Craig on LinkedIn as well as Instagram as well, right? So he does a couple different shows, different podcasts, along with Glenn Hausman. So make sure you guys check that out and follow him and support him just like you support me, right? So anyway, that is it. I see no questions. I appreciate. Let me just make sure I see no questions. See, today's conversation was, some people, maybe some people feel some kind of way about that conversation, but that's okay because these are things that need to be said. They need to be talked about. You need to know that, when's a good time to discuss certain things. During the family trip is not, okay. Know that we all talk to each other. We do share information. So there you go. And know, thank you, Jim. Let's see, Jim Schichter. Just put his comment on there. Hey, Russell, have a great day. Thank you so much, Jim. Appreciate you for coming on and making a comment. See, that's what I'm talking about. Making a comment. I put your stuff on the screen here so you can see. Appreciate you. So, but other than that, I think that's it. I do these daily check-ins daily. So I'll be doing it again tomorrow as well. Hopefully I try to get around noontime. But if not, I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to do it. So just be patient with me. I will be there, right? So anyway, you guys have a great day. Any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. Russell@russellofhotels.com is my email, or you can find me on every social media platform. And like I said, I'm live right now on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, and not IG today. And X is Twitter, okay? I say X, but people are like, what is X? Well, X is the old Twitter, okay? So there you go. Until tomorrow. See you guys. Have a great day. Peace.